Welcome back to the channel. I'm Reed and this is Man Cave Guitar Pedal Mania. I'm doing a series of videos where I shoot out the Boss VD400 versus individual delay pedals. Not to see just which one sounds better, but which one it's easier to get the sound I like. This week I've got another David and Goliath matchup, the Behringer Vintage Delay VD400. Now, that pedal cost $25 brand new, and for a good reason. It is very, very cheaply constructed. This is completely plastic. I feel like if you had a heavy foot, you were rocking out on stage and you stomped on this thing in the heat of the moment, you would break it, no problem at all. The knobs are really cheap. But for all of that, it is a true analog delay. The Boss VD400 is a digital delay. So if you remember from our Delay 101 episode, an analog delay is dealing with the true electrical output of your guitar. It's running your guitar's electrical signal through a bucket brigade chip and sometimes feeding it back into that same chip over and over again, producing repeats. Whereas in the digital delay, it makes a digital recording of your signal and then manipulates that recording. So the VD400 is pretending to be an analog delay, but it's not really. So this will be an interesting mashup. Of course, at the price difference, you can buy 14 Behringer analog delays for the price of the VD400. I'm just saying, if you're budget conscious, Behringer's not a bad way to go, as long as you're gentle with it. You really can't expect it to last very long. So let's see what these things sound like. I'm going to start with the Behringer. Now, as I mentioned in previous videos, delay, to me, more than any other type of effect, you have to change the way you play. If you're just a strummer, this type of delay isn't really going to do you much good. So, all of my knobs are at noon because pedal review. Well, if I just strum away, so you can't hear the delay until I stop playing. So what this really wants is a very crisp staccato style of play. Even a legato hear the delay repeats until you stop playing. So it really wants... Of course, you can mix things up a little bit. So, with everything at noon, it's a few too many repeats, a little bit too much in the mix. So I'm going to drop the intensity and the echo. Also just a little bit fast. Okay, that is a sound I like. Okay, there we go. So that took me, 30 seconds? Now, I've started off with the Boss on its analog preset because I think this is a preset that sounds really good. As you can hear, it's much more clear. Because it is pretending to be analog, not actually analog, so it's not losing signal as you get more repeats. It's a very different delay time, though. So I think that Behringer is about half that that speed. This would be one that it would be very handy to have the tap tempo available on, but on the analog delay, you can't use the tap tempo. But I am going to drop that down to say about 200 and see where that takes me. Okay, I'm going to adjust a little bit slower, maybe 220. Yeah, that's right about the same area. I think the Boss is compensating for its digitalness by making the tone a little dark. So I'm going to raise up the tone a little bit. Okay, so you can get real close to an actual analog delay with the Boss digital delay. That does not surprise me at all. So, not surprisingly, the Boss DD500 does a really good analog delay sound. If I got into the software and really tweaked the parameters, I bet I could get it even better. So, in this case, even with the massive price disparity, I do like the DD500 better. Plus, I feel like you could use it for years and years and it's not going to stop functioning. Whereas that Behringer, you know, I'm not a big guy, but I still feel like I'm going to break that thing every time I put it on my board. So, this is a very short video, but I'm going to give this one to the Boss DD500. So I hope you find these interesting. I do. In the meantime, I've been Reed, and this is Man Cave Guitar Pedal Mania.